Hello, and welcome to the Cancer Journey podcast. I'm Alicia.
And I'm Sherry Ann.
So let's start with Pesh. I'll go today. Okay, so physically, I am a 3.5. Emotionally, I'm a 4.5. Spiritually, I'm a 4. Nope, just a 4. And hope is a 4.25, and my word is off.
Mm. Oh, physically, I am 4.25, emotionally, 4.4, spirit, 4.5, hope, 4.2, and my word is peaceful.
Okay, so we're just gonna get into it. So last week, our episode was about the key to finding your peace, and that being releasing what you have no control over. And so that allows you to have your power back. Today, we want to talk more about what it means to really reclaim your power instead of giving it away, right? So last week we talked about releasing what you can't control, and that's not releasing your power. So we're just distinguishing the difference because sometimes we get to the place where we just give our power away to someone else because we think it'll be easier on us, because we think it'll be less effort, because of whatever reasons we tell ourselves. But at the core of it, we're really just not valuing ourselves when we give our power away.
Absolutely. And I noticed I was obviously spurred by something that you said. We tend to give our power away when we're tired, when it's like when we're overwhelmed, where it's just too much and we're not feeling like we have all of our resources. And resources being not just physical, but it's like our mental, our emotional, our spiritual, which is why Pesh is so good in letting us know what resources we have. But when they're low, it's like, you do it for me. You make the decision. It's just that I don't want to, I have no energy to exert. So it's kind of, I don't want to, I don't have, I need help, but I'm not really sure how to ask for help. So it's like, you do it.
Yeah. And it almost feels like there's that spectrum of like giving it away versus taking on everything, right? And so sometimes it feels like we have to be at the far ends of it and choose like, you just take everything, hands up, or be like, okay, you don't have anything, let me just do everything, regardless of what I do and don't have control of. And you can easily see how either end of those become very toxic to live in. And to just focus on. So when we find a balance in the middle, and it doesn't have to be anyone's spot, each situation will call for something different. You're not always going to have the same amount of control over things like the weather, obviously. But we do have control over choice. And that's something that you were just saying is like that decision making when we give someone else the power to make all decisions for us, we start to take away our power of choice.
Mhm.
Such a big thing in CJ Island, and what we do is that sometimes that's the biggest power we have, whether it is like something tangible that we can choose or like something that makes a big impact like your choice of treatment, or even just the choice of your perspective or the choice of how you view the people around you. Sometimes that can feel like the only power we really have in the moment, and yet it is so incredibly powerful.
Yeah, I mean, I always say, and we say definitely say this at CJI, is the most powerful choice you can have is how you're choosing to see your situation.
Hmm.
And if it's not working for you, if it is that you're looking through the lens of doom and gloom, or things are, you know, all messed up, or something that feels out of your control, then it is. That's
Hmm.
just how you're seeing your situation and how you're living it. Now, conversely, and you brought up perspective, if you're looking at it as I'm empowered, which is us reclaiming our power, oh, then things change. And the first place I go to is what we do, kind of we're a strength-based company, is looking at what are my unique strengths and going to them as resources to handle whatever the situation is. Hold on one second. having said that, it's like, well, how do I know what my strengths are? We lean into the Clifton Gallup Strengths Finders Assessment to let us know. More on that at another time. But also, you can also see what do you excel at? Like, what do you know that you have and you do really well? Whether someone told you or you just know, it's like lean into that.
Yeah. Oh, I was going right where you're going to with your essence formula, right? Like I was going to like valuing ourselves and knowing that we matter and that the innate gifts that we have, they seem so commonplace to us because we're used to them. They're so like right here that sometimes we don't give a voice to them and we don't like allow ourselves to see the greatness that we offer because every unique person has a different combination of their strengths, a different combination of the things that matter to them, a different combination of like all their life experiences that have made them who they are today, and they bring huge value. But because we're living in it, like, how often do we say, like, yeah, I'm really resourceful. I'm really good at that. I know how to, like, I have this arsenal of tools in my pocket and I know how to reach into one and pull one out. Like, not often are we saying that about ourselves. Sometimes we're almost waiting for someone else to tell us and validate that for us instead of just truly deeply believing we have it. And so when we're giving our power away, we're almost expecting someone else to take the reins because they think they can handle it. Or sometimes we're kind of quietly, so quietly it's silent, um, waiting for them to be like, actually, you like this is for you. You can have this and you can handle this, and be like, oh, they believe I can handle it, so I can handle it. So there's so many different levels to giving your power away and why we do it. But I think you're absolutely right in coming back to strengths or coming back
Hmm.
to like your values and just the things that matter to you that feel easy for you, but they're not easy for everyone. They are these really special gifts that you bring. And so, in that way, you know what tools that you have in your arsenal to be able to make an impact and the impact that serves you best. Because no one is going to be um, putting things in your best interest more than you will. Like, only you really know what you want, and only you really know what you need.
That's saying a mouthful, Alicia. Because when we're feeling low resourced, even though we may know what was unique about us and what we bring, it may not be accessible in a moment. I mean, we all have our periods where we're not such a cheerleader for ourselves. You know, it's like, oh, I know I have this. I'm going to bring this out of my toolkit, or I'm going to be more of who I am. It's those moments where, especially on a cancer journey, where you're knocked off your game, and it's like, okay, how do I show up as me? Wait. Who am I? What value do I have? What do I bring? And we'll pause for a moment and go, there's nothing. I can't think of anything. And that's the perfect time when someone goes, doctor, nurse, professional, you be in charge of my life. You tell me what to do. And we get that there are people who are experts. And of course, your oncologist is a specialist in their training. And so there is information they know that you may not. But them making all the decisions about you or for you is dangerous. There's something else that I often say, which is when you're on a cancer journey, especially when you're in initiation and you're at that place where you're trying to decide, am I going to do this treatment or this treatment? And you're trying to listen to everybody else, okay, you know better than me. You know better than me. Then all of a sudden we lose that voice of ours of what we really want. And so we start, oh, back to the people pleasing, but partly because we don't know. We can't get connected with ourselves. So I trust you. You're the expert. You decide for me. But the true answer is what you believe is going to work for you. And only you know it. Like you said, you're the only one who knows the thoughts in your head. You're the only one who knows how your body is feeling. So when we get quiet enough to listen, but then assimilate it, let it process through us, Do we know what's the right answer for whatever the situation is? And then acting on that, because that's going to be the one that's in alignment with you. And you could stand in your power again.
Yeah. Yeah. So much is coming to me. Not that I've noted any of it, but um, yes, like coming back to when you're feeling like almost at one of your lowest points. I don't know if it's your absolute lowest, but when you're in the pit, regardless of if you know what the roadmap is, you'll know what I mean. But when you're in the pit, when you're in this cancer journey experience, it's hard to even recognize that you have resources, right? You are in that doom and gloom. And so it becomes really hard to stand up for yourself, even to yourself, right? Like your negative ego might be really loud telling you you have no control, you can't do anything. And so it makes a lot of sense to trust the people that you think know everything, right? And I would also say that, like, in that space, though it can be a little harder to remain curious and not just give the power away. Like, when there's a decision that needs to be made, regardless if you're the one who makes the decision of left or right, um, you can still ask the questions to get clear on what's going on instead of just throwing your hands in the air and saying, I abdicate all control. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what any of this means. Someone else just choose for me. And I totally understand there will be moments for that. Maybe for something more like, what am I eating today? Like I can understand sometimes people are in decision fatigue and it's like someone else just choose for me, I'll eat either of them. But when it comes to something like treatment or something with how you're being treated, physically, emotionally, mentally, all those things, you have the power to ask for more information so that you can make a more educated decision for yourself instead of saying, whatever happens happens, because this is your journey. And it's, I just like, I want to remain sensitive for that pit space and how vulnerable and how powerless it does feel. um and how I just feel like it's so important in that space to know that you still have power and you can reclaim it without giving up every bit of it to someone else.
Right. I think that having those around you reminding you of this, which I'm coming back to, what we do at the Cancer Journey is having a coach who knows what your strengths are, your essence formula, who knows what's really important to you, to know what's unique about you, to remind you during the pity times. No, 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 don't give your power away. Come back to where can you stand powerfully because you have X, Y, and Z in your favor. This is what you know. This is what you do. And putting you back in the center, not in a, oh my God, more stuff that I have to take care of or in an onerous way. It's more like getting connected with what you want. And sometimes in the pit, it's elusive. It's
Mhm.
like, I don't know. And not going, okay, well then I'll make that decision for you, or let's see who else can. It's more like, okay, let's here go with the pause again. Let's just slow down. Let's just take a pause. Let's take some time to just reconnect with you. That when we're in overwhelm or depletion, we don't do. And
Mhm.
it's the opposite of what we think we should do, which is like, I need to figure it out so I don't have to feel this way, versus let me just stop. What happens if I just stop and take time to reconnect with me? Reclaiming your power and reconnecting you with you is almost synonymous because
Yeah.
you are your power.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I love talking about the coach now because I'm really visualizing them being there with you, right? Like everything you said, like yes, it's great, but it's so it's not just hard to do it alone. It's actually quite impossible to do it alone because you need someone who can reflect you, and your coach can be your cheerleader, but they can also be so much more than that. Because if you're doing this on your own, you're kind of having to ask yourself the hard questions, but also like having to answer them, but also trying to like reflect yourself, and the things that you're not seeing because you're in the moment. And so a coach is actually so essential because then you get to just be. You don't have to do any of the doing, right? And so um the coach does. The coach leads you forward. They prompt you, they ask you questions, and they get to be curious in a way that as a client you get to just let go. You know, you get to say things the most ridiculous way you want to. You don't feel like you have to like parse your language. Okay, one way I'm going to relate this to, which maybe not everyone will understand because AI is so new, but something that I appreciate about AI, especially when I'm feeling like I do not have the words, I do not have the brain power to like take what I know and turn it into what I want, even though I know I could get there eventually on my own, and I try not to use AI too much because I want to retain all that strength up there. But when I do use it, I just say anything. I don't try to edit myself. I don't try to filter it. I say like say this thing but make it nice and make it friendly and don't use run-on sentences and just all of the stuff that I want to say. I can say the same word over and over and over because if you've ever typed a paragraph and you want to use the same word over and over and you're just like, I can't think of another word. I can't use the thesaurus anymore. Like with AI, you don't have to because it'll just do it for you. And so similarly in a coaching relationship, your coach kind of does that for you. It synthesizes like that relationship synthesizes who you are at your core, and none of the things your coach is coming up with are things that are out of nowhere. It comes directly from things that you've said and things that you've said yes to. They're not just being like, well, I noticed you did that, and even though you didn't confirm it, I'm still adding that to my synthesis. Like, they're like, no. They will always make sure that that is something that is in alignment with you before they hold that information and honestly offer it back up to you so you can see how you're releasing things. But a coach is so essential in that because otherwise you have to do all of the leading of yourself through to what product, like what end result. Um and it's a constant process. There isn't just a one and done. Like the coaching starts to become part of your day to day. You start to reflect on those things. Um and they help kind of shift you and the person that you want to become into the mindset that you want to continue to hold. So I know I'm saying a lot right now, but this last bit is that when we're talking about reclaiming your power, it can feel overwhelming. Like I talked about that spectrum in the beginning of giving it all away versus taking all of it on. Figuring out where you are in the middle, there's a lot of gray area there. Your coach can help you figure out what is the right balance for you and what's comfortable for you without you having to do all the work. They'll just help you find a way to step into that, maybe slowly, maybe all at once, but based on who you are and what you are ready to do.
I love you bringing in AI. And as you were talking, it's like, well, could AI be my coach? And I will hands up. The answer is no, because what we do, there's so much that I want to add to this, but I'm just going to play with that one for a bit. Is that like what you just did when you're just saying whatever? I just need to get this out because this is what's happening. I do that with my coach. And I think that everybody should have a coach, regardless of what journey you're on. Obviously, I'm far away from my cancer journey, but I'm always in the cancer journey because that's our company. But there's my Sherry Ann life. And I oftentimes do this to my coach, and I'll just say, let me just riff. Let me just tell you what's in my head right now. And I will just whatever wants to come out. And then I'll sit back and I'll say, okay, what did you hear? Because I'm saying it, but I don't really get it. And when you say synthesize, it is super duper helpful. And I know my coach is, yes, he's listening through his ears and he's processing it through his brain, but he's also using his intuition and his knowing. And then he's combining all of that, which is something that AI can't do because AI does not have intuition and knowing me. I mean, I guess they could learn over time. I don't want them to know me like that. I prefer the human. Um, and I get it back and it's like, that's what I said. That's what's going on. And from that, I could start getting clarity, which helps me step back into my power and reclaim my power of, oh, that thing, that's just That's an outcreep of my negative ego. It's trying to take over. It's trying to keep me safe. And really, I'm pushing the edge. And I want to push the edge because I don't want to live my life like every day, every day. I love growing and stretching. So, ooh, let's look at that edge. And now I get to do it with somebody else in the process of me versus me trying to figure out all by myself, which feels very lonely too, to not be seen by anybody else and just me. And I'm like, well, what are we going to do? And partly what would come out of that would be, I don't know.
Right. Right. There's something to being witnessed by an individual. And because so much of what we do, especially as coaches, is we feel and see the emotion, and that is just simply something AI cannot do. Maybe they can parse apart, like based on the words you choose, what emotions might be there, but they're not seeing what's happening through the emotions like a coach would. And so this really happens, especially when someone's like in the swirl of emotion, that like exactly like you said, I think that's a great way to work with your coach to be like, can I just like vomit this all over you and you just tell me what's coming out of it, because I just need to get it out. Like I don't know any other way, and I need to be heard but for what I mean and not just what I say. And that also becomes where a coach versus a family member, a friend, a loved one can be so different, because a lot of times your family and friends will hear the words that you're saying, but not be able to dissect it from the emotions that you're feeling at that time. Or maybe you also don't feel like completely comfortable laying it all out to them, because then it feels like you're putting it on someone else. Whereas with your coach, I mean, you can kind of do either. I'm not going to say everyone has access to being vulnerable and just letting it go, because actually that's much harder to do, and saying just like, I'm just going to tell you all these things and just vomit out everything that's coming out to me. Like that's actually much harder to do. Most people talk through a kind of these hems and haws, of what's there, and your coach is so well trained to be able to be like, okay, it feels like we're holding back here, and noticing those different nuances that technology just simply couldn't be able to do, and then be able to come back to you and say, well, how do you want to be? What does that feel like? How can you start to involve that in your life, and to take steps that create progress with you, only when you're ready and only as you're ready to. And it's so unique person to person, and that's why not every coach is going to be perfect for every person. Every coach is different, just like every person's different. So we start to figure that out. But oh my god, it makes me honor that relationship so much, because everyone needs a coach. Everyone needs someone that they can say the most ridiculous things to without feeling like any of it's being held against them.
Yeah. And that also underscores why a coach needs good training. Because what you're speaking to is the nuances, yes, but it's the energy and being able to read energy, whether you're in person, you're on a Zoom call or some online call, or just hearing them over the phone. And so I'm old school, started back in the dinosaur ages of coaching, life coaching, and we only did phone. And I got to say, I love doing that because you do hear things in the energy, the energetics of it that you could not necessarily pick up with just words. Just words are, it's like when someone texts you and you're like, are they mad at me or are they excited? I mean, you can't tell. And then if they use all caps and the exclamation point, are they mad at me or are they excited? You can't tell. Where when you're listening to somebody and you feel that you just feel it. It's like their body is talking to your body. I mean, I just got goosebumps too, because it's like, oh, whenever I hit something that feels like truth, my body goes zzz, zzz. And I love that this pool, this vehicle of my body that isn't just hearing, seeing, touching. It's so much more essence and energy and emotions, but emotions aren't just words, they're purely energy, just of a high expansiveness or a tight constrict. I mean, it's like I'm loving this topic. There's just so much to explore. And it's in this reflection of all of that, of the whole being, that we get to reclaim and reconnect with our power. We could say something, and just for us, in the place that we're in, which could be a low place, it's like, oh, this thing happened the other day. And then we're not taking in all of us, but my coach will, and will say, hold on, what just happened there? And I'll go, what do you mean? What just happened there? And we can come down to back to the word nuances. It's like, this is what I just heard. This is what I'm getting from you. Can we explore this? And I could be like, huh, that's almost like your mind reading or this magic here, because you just got a piece of me that even I didn't know was there. But when you said it, I felt it.
Hmm. Or even, it gives you the opportunity to say, no, I don't want to go there right now. I'm not ready. Your coach goes, okay, that's fine. And sometimes they can come back to it, or sometimes it's just like, actually, no, that's not how I feel. And they're like, okay, dropped. I'm not going to hold something that doesn't feel true for you. Um, I'm going to do my takeaway. Oh,
Wait. But while you said that, I just want to say that that could be a seed that you're like, you're not ready right now, but your coach just planted a seed, and then you're going to go away, and that seed is going to start opening up. It's like germination. It's like,
mm-hmm.
oh, that one thing that you said, I sat with it, and here's what I know now. And I those are so many moments that happen in coaching that it's part of why I love it. It's like, I can't see what I can't see, but you can drop a seed in me, and it's like, oh, that's right.
I
Okay,
love
go
when
ahead.
you
Take
use
away.
the like sprout plant metaphors when it comes to all of the work we do, really, because it goes so hand in hand, because healing is growth. And so, I mean, when you talk about the seed, right, like those seeds, based on the environment we put them in, they're going to grow at different rates, and we don't know what's going on until they sprout, until we got a little bud or a little green thing coming out of the soil. But everyone's going to do it at a different rate. But what's also really important there is that it happens between sessions. The seed is only planted in a session. And then from there to the next one, it may start to grow. It may start to get roots. It may not even be the next session or the one after that or the one after that that you see a bud come up and you're like, oh, there was really something there. But between sessions, as we're processing, we're growing, especially holding these different concepts in our brain. Okay, so I'm gonna do my takeaway. My takeaway is that it can feel easier to give away your power, especially when you're on a cancer journey, and if you're in the pit and feeling lost and hopeless and um, just exhausted, right? But it's actually more in service of you to take back your power in big or small ways and doing things that really align for you, because again, I feel so strongly that no one is in your corner as much as you are. No one knows you like you do, and so you do have to, in a sense, be your own advocate sometimes. And a coach really, really helps you do that. Coaching is not a selfish pursuit. People become coaches because they love to support people and foster their growth and development and their healing, especially cancer journey coaches, who specifically are for people who are on some sort of cancer journey as a patient, survivor, thriver, or caregiver. Gotta emphasize those caregivers. But I do think that it's so important to know that you do have power, and that what you want truly, truly matters. And then my Pesh is, physically, I'm a 3.75. Emotionally, I'm a 4.6. Spiritually, I'm a 4.4. And hope is a 4.25. And my word is resonance.
I like seeing how we kind of expand and get so much more juiced up after while we're talking and in these podcast recordings. Um, my takeaway is that sometimes we are depleted and we don't want to take the garbage out, wash the dishes, those kind of things. Just more responsibility, more that those are small responsibilities, but like we're not wanting to do that. And it's okay to ask for help. asking for help is not giving your power away. Asking someone to take over your life and make life decisions, yeah. And so when you get to that place, I would encourage everyone to like pause and either find them one like a that's coach like, or come to us. We've got a coach for you. It's really empowering, and it feels so good to know that you're standing in your power of your life. And only you know what that is. Your coach can help, but only you know what that is. And my PASH is physically 4.25. Emotionally, I'm 4.7. My spirit is 4.8. My hope is 4.35. And my word is joy. Ah,
Something that I feel really strongly about at CJI is that we allow people to know that they have power regardless of how long they have. You have power regardless of how long your active being is on this earth with us. There is something that you can do, and you still absolutely matter. And with that, thank you for tuning in. We'll be back next week with a new episode.
have a lovely rest of your day. And remember, you're more powerful than you realize.